found this video, you probably are a student at Chamberlain and you're trying to figure out what your immersion was like. You more than likely found this video for the same reason that I'm making it, because I have searched the entire internet and save for one video on YouTube that just is called Immersion Weekend, that doesn't really say specifically what happens or that it's even associated with going to Chamberlain University. I haven't found anything of anyone chronicling their experience with Chamberlain and going to Chicago for an entire weekend. I need to start off, I'm not affiliated with Chamberlain, I'm just a student there. So obviously I can't film the actual tests and the actual procedures I'm going through, but I really thought it would be useful if someone out there kind of documented what it was like to go do this, because I don't know what to expect and I'm pretty nervous about it. This whole class, I'm in NR509 right now. This whole class has been kind of a beatdown for me, for a lot of reasons that are mainly my fault. As of right now, I'm doing pretty well, but at 6:30 we had breakfast. Hinges on whether or not I can survive this entire weekend. It's actually about 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm about to board a flight. I'm gonna land at O'Hare. I'm just gonna try to give updates throughout the day, and I'm gonna film what I can so people can kind of see what to expect. I feel like this would be something good to have, because honestly, I really wish I'd have had it before I'm going right now. Stay tuned. Pretty uneventful flight. Just waiting on a Lincoln stretch limo, and what do you know? There it is. Which is nice, because that's the only thing I got paid for. Everything else came out of pocket. Gotta be honest, I was a little tentative to get on an elevator that looks like this. But hey, it opened. Alright, so I made it, and as you can see, the room is not very big. I read somewhere this used to be an all-girls college, so these are basically going to be dorm rooms. You get a pretty good look at it there. I think there's bigger rooms. I opted for the smaller one. It's just me. I don't need much. There's sink and everything is kind of out here. Small but functional here. About the size of a phone booth. Nice. Let's see if I'm going to get together with any classmates here and practice this headed to assessment some. So I had to record this later because I kind of forgot to do it, but I just wanted everybody to know what to expect on your very first day. So 6:30 we had breakfast. We went to this really, really big ballroom where all 400 plus of us kind of lined up. They had these 3 slideshows running. Basically, it's a breakdown of what you're going to do that day. They get you name badges, which is your registration. They tell you kind of what we're doing. I think the dean of students talked to us for a little while, explained to us what to expect, and pretty much stressed that it was a low stress environment. We weren't going to be tested on anything that day. Pretty much 8 hours of classes, and it wasn't bad. For people that may have questions about it, the classes, everyone has their different order of classes. And I think there was 459 of us in a building that is not equipped to handle and feed and educate 459 people. So that was kind of a problem, but I don't think it's really anything that they can help so much. Every class is scheduled for an hour long. The first one I went to was administrative, which is they have student services, compliance, and your practical coordination all set up, and you can ask questions. You don't have to do anything. I saw a lot of people just kind of chilling out and just waiting until the 10 a.m. class. They had a station set up, like a VR setup, like virtual reality setup, so you can look inside ears and look at red reflexes and eyes. I didn't get to do that. I probably could have stood in line, but really wasn't interested. The APEA were set up selling books. I guess that's for board prep. You had the option to stand in line and look at all their materials and buy them. I personally didn't. Just to move on to what your day kind of gets like, you go to my first class after administrative, which is technically a class. I had gynecology, which actually learned something that is outside the scope of nursing practice, something that obviously I've never taken part in. So They actually have a scrape a cervix for cells. Obviously not real cervix. They have models set up. They teach us how to do a pelvic exam with a speculum. They actually have a station set up to teach us how to assess for prostate abnormalities. The professor I had actually took some time to answer some questions about Immersion, so I liked that too. Then I moved on to, there was an EKG class. It was one of the biggest classes. There was probably 40 of us in that room. I've worked in a cardiac emergency room for a long time. It was kind of low level stuff. I'm not going to act like I'm too good to ever learn more. That's not the case. It's just they taught us 2 rhythms that were easily identifiable. One that was so rare that even the teacher said she has never seen it before. I'm definitely trying to get the point across. This was pretty low stress environment. I don't want you to think you're not getting tested. There's a discussion, there's a forum, everyone's open. Teachers have been fantastic as far as answering questions. It's really fast. Sometimes you sit down and you don't even realize class is over before you're moving on to the next one. My biggest complaint, and it's not even that big of a deal, so there's 459 people and they scheduled 2 lunch periods. I don't know if you can see that, but you'll see on mine it shows that there's a break for 15 minutes, and then my scheduled lunch is at 12:30 for an hour afterwards, 12:30 to 1:30. And they did stress at the end of the class, the previous class, it said, if it shows that you have a break first, make sure to take it, because if everyone tries to go stand in line at once, then there will be an issue with lines and overcrowding, because it's a very large cafeteria, but again, there's 459 of us, and half of these people brought their spouses and brought guests with them. There was definitely not enough room to accommodate that many people. So what happens is the people that have lunch first just don't get up, and then the line that they were fearing and warning us about kind of happened anyway. That would be the only knock I have on this place. But if you get up early enough, breakfast was very easy. Just kind of walk down, chill out. If you go early enough, just kind of walk down, eat, come back. I moved on to an orthopedics lecture, which again, an hour long. I liked it a lot. They taught us a lot of in-depth assessment techniques and what to look for. They mainly focused on if you work in in a primary care setting specifically, what to look for, what to relate to. Like if someone comes in, they even gave scenarios where if someone comes in for eye pain, but they're also having foot pain, and they're also having elbow pain, and they're also having other pain, how to relate those and how to form a good diagnosis. After that, I had 1 hour of practice, which we went to a room with exam tables. We partnered up and we spent an hour practicing our head-to-toe assessment, which was really good for me because it kind of opened my eyes. I can recite the head-to-toe assessment easily. Once you put a person in front of me, I have trouble. And I didn't realize I had trouble until I actually had to do it. I've been so focused on the class that I have not practiced on a person until I got here. Then after that, we did skin rash. It was pretty informative. The lady that taught it seemed to know what she was talking about, and she simplified it so much because I have so much trouble identifying skin problems. Describing them in documentation is basically, she does a lot for an hour of time. She really breaks it down pretty well. Now I'm back in my room. It's about 5:30 and I'm waiting for dinner, and I'm actually going to practice my head-to-toe assessment some more with some of my classmates I've met here, and then hopefully tomorrow goes okay. We're up at 7:30 in the morning to get our time assigned. We could be assigned anywhere from 8 o'clock to 2:30 in the afternoon, so let's hope I'm early and I don't miss a flight. If you're watching this and you're at Chamberlain and you're worried about it, if it's a stressful experience for you, it's really low stress environment. There's going to be a level of stress you worry about because you think, oh man, I have to know all of this stuff to be an efficient provider. Like, I have to know all this, but these ladies have been doing this for so long. But they even told us during one of our classes that not to sweat it, that there's so much to know that you're going to learn it as you go. But we're just trying to build our foundation. They want to be comfortable sending us into a clinical area. So that's pretty much, this is my Saturday experience. So I'm going to relax a little bit, try to have a little bit of food, practice my head-to-toe a little bit more, because that's the only thing between me and getting home to try and pass this class. So after we got done with dinner on Saturday, there was plenty of time. There was people everywhere practicing. I got about 3 hours and like 3 solid runs in of my assessment. I feel a lot better about it tomorrow, and hopefully I can get in there early and I don't miss my flight going home because it is now exactly 9 o'clock. We have to be into the main room at 7:30 for our assignments to our partners, and I just want to get this over with and get home. Everything is dictated by what happens tomorrow, so we'll see. So that was it. Everything went pretty well, I think. I don't think I missed anything. And from the teacher's reaction, they're not supposed to tell you anything, but I'm pretty sure I passed. Just heads up for anyone. But they tell you not to book a flight pass. Some documents say 5, some say 6. I booked my flight for 5:50 going back home from O'Hare. I got done before 11, and I was in group 3. There's 6 groups for us. So far, I think the trip was a success. Learned quite a bit. Pretty sure I rocked my assessment. I'll let you know probably in this video. But this is kind of what you do. You show up at 7:30, you sit in this room. I don't want to show the names, but we have names up here on this board. All our names here, all 400 of us, and what instructor we go with, what group we're in, and then they literally just call your names over the overhead.
Okay, round 5 with Janet Gilbreth.
All day, until they get through all 400 plus of us. And at one point, they put all our names up. So they put us up on the board and they show you who your partner is.
Round 5 with Jack.
They gave us the option of walking up, getting the microphone, and then calling out your partner's name so you can find them. And then everyone kind of sits on the outskirts here and practices. My partner and I made one run through it. And we had it, and I'm fairly sure we rocked it, both of us.
All right, round 5.
So I got home late that Sunday because I went ahead and booked the flight after 5 p.m. like I was told to, but it ended up I was done before noon and kind of just sat around the airport and just waited to leave. But the good news is I got my results. I got a message in my grade book from the professor that just said, "Congratulations, you passed, and then soon I will upload your score sheet." So that was on like Tuesday. And then around late Thursday, I think she actually uploaded the score sheet, and it turns out I missed one thing. So there's nothing left to do now but actually prepare for my APEA exam, which I already did because I had to film this way after, just a little hectic scheduling. The APEA exam, there's no real way to prepare for it. I just advise, don't buy the predictor exams and all the study materials yet. Some colleagues, my preceptor, some people I work with have indicated those are really for board prep, and we're not at that level yet. It was difficult. The best thing I can suggest is keep yourself in a situation where that 100-point test at the end doesn't really hinge on whether or not you keep a grade or not, because I had some issues at the beginning and I got to the point where I think I needed 35 points to maintain a B, which I was very concerned about with my grade point average dropping. I got enough on my APEA exam to keep myself with a B in the class, but I still actually dropped my GPA a little tiny bit. So that's one thing definitely to remember in this assessment class. Focus on your SOAP notes, do well with those. That's my immersion experience. I honestly appreciated getting to do it. I hope this helps clear some things up. This is something I would have liked to have had before I went. As long as you're prepared, everything goes off without a hitch. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps out. And if you have any more questions, something that I didn't cover that you're curious about, if I can answer it, just put it in the comments below, whatever you need, and I'll do my best to answer it. Either way, thanks for watching.